Hey, welcome, all my right thinkers. Thanks for tuning in. Check out your boy P Funk thinking right out here in my lab, and I'm in the book doing what I do for you. We got a nice one about the introduction to the philosophy of the Pert M. Heru. The who, what, where? What is the new Pert M. Heru? I'm gonna break that down for you. We know it as the Book of the Dead. I got a nice little lesson for you. Break that down and spread it to you. And if I have the time, I'm gonna take you to the ancient Egyptian practice of yoga. It originally started in Egypt. Got that information for you too. Then I'm gonna break the term yoga down for you and explain the philosophy behind it. Good little lesson. Let's go. Get comfortable. The teacher's on duty. I'm about to do my thing. Let's rock. Right, isn't 25 rules to live by. Storytelling. Story with a message. There's always a message in my stories for life. I give life lessons. You tune in and receive them. I appreciate you. We got a good thing going. Let's do what we do. Right thinking mission is to enlighten, inspire, educate, and motivate you, the individual, to a higher spiritual level of enlightenment. Right thinking's way of life through mental and spiritual discipline practice daily will help and guide you to obtain your goal of reaching spiritual enlightenment, aka know thyself. My mission is that all right thinkers know thyself. If you're a right thinker, your goal is to know thyself. See where we're going with this? Let's get there together. So I asked the question, do you know you? Well, when I'm through, that's what I do for you. It's rhetorical, but if you don't have an answer for yourself, tune in. I got you. A person who knows not and knows not that they know not is foolish. Disregard them. Don't be them. A person who knows not and knows that they know not is simple, but you can teach them. That's why I do what I do for you. I appreciate you too. Stay tuned. I got more for you. A person who knows not and believe and think that they know is dangerous. Avoid them. I do. A person who knows and knows not that they know is spiritually asleep. Okay, I can awaken them. I'm the spiritual alarm clock here to wake you up with knowledge of self. That's what I do for you. A person who knows and knows that they know is wise. Follow them. All these persons reside in you. Right thinkers know thyself and to my yacht be true. Right thinkers, let's break down P-Funk's philosophy on what is the Ra Nu Pert M Heru. This is the original enunciation of the Book of the Dead from the people who practiced it when they found the books because they was in the caskets. They called it the Book of the Dead. So let's talk about that concept. I'm gonna break it down for you. Hope you get a better understanding after this lesson. Let's go. The scriptures that's presented in this volume come from the extensive body of text known as the Egyptian Book of the Dead by the ignorant. These texts span the entire history of ancient Egypt, meaning since the beginning, and it was called Kemet before the Greeks came in. Beginning with the pyramid text in the early dynastic period. These were followed by the coffin texts that then dug up the grave in the coffins, his Book of the Dead, which were followed then by a late dynastic text, which were recorded in a variety of different media styles and types, which you mean, in which most popular known as was the papyrus. Okay? We wrote in stone. We scribed it right in the stone. We didn't do no paper. But papyrus is the way we put it down in prosperity. And what happens is they burnt the papyrus and start putting it in stone. Hence, Egypt is called the Library of Stone. All the information was put in stone for that purpose. Why? They had the Alexandria Library. They burned it up and kept what they wanted and got rid of the rest. They've been doing that for a long time. All right, let's talk about this Pert M. Heru thing. All right, so the teachings of mystical spirituality was being practiced and contained in the most ancient writings. We documented everything of Egypt, even though that preceded the dynastic or the pharaonic period from 4500 BCE to 600 ACE when they shut down the last temple of Aset in Philae. But for all that time, I know the phrase they said, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. We had everything we needed. We lived for thousands of years with this. So when y'all came in and changed it and took them, dissected, and make all kind of way, now it's just fragmented. And those who really know it what they're doing, we go back and find the fragments and put them together. I'm putting the pieces together for myself. And again, from 600 ACE, no practice of ancient philosophy. And the most extensive expositions of that philosophy may be found in the writings, which have in modern time, today, been referred to as the Egyptian Book of the Dead. It's originally known, now pay attention, as Heru, R-A-U, Nu, N-U, Pert, P-R-T, no letters in between, M, the letter, and Heru. They spell Heru, H-R-U, no E, okay? So, Heru. Or you can pronounce it Raul, Nu, Pert, M, Heru, spelled P-E-R-E-M. Sometimes the M is spelled with the E in front of the M, sometimes just the M. Or you can say Ru, R-E-U, Nu, Pert, M, Heru, and the E and the A pretty much flip-flops with the O and the A and the E. They'll pretty much go back and forth. So let's break it down according to them. Rau, R-A-U. This word means teaching, liturgy, okay? Nu, N-U, of, that means of. We use it Pert, or Pert spelled P-R-T, or Pert spelled with the E, P-E-R-T, equals going out. Pay attention. It's all breaking down word for word. M, E-M, or just the letter M, equals as or through. Stay with me. Heru, H-R-U or H-R-H-E-R-U. That's spiritual light or enlightened being. The God Heru, that's the spirit, recognizes itself in me and you. That's what you have to do for yourself. And they had it all figured out, and it worked like clockwork for thousands of years. And this may therefore be translated, breaking it down, the word utterance for coming into the spiritual light, aka enlightenment, or becoming one with Heru, the Son of God. I was going to take the name Heru. I said, no, that would be called that's what I told myself Jesus Christ, because he's the original Christ. So if you take that name, that's who you claim to be, the Son of God, which I don't put no home about that, but that's the concept. But we are all what? Heru, male and female, spirit that's in us. It ain't about the sex. The sex is for the physical body, male and female. Spirit don't need neither one of them. Okay, it's androgynous. It's good to go either side, do what it need to do. But in the spirit, it don't need a body. Why? It don't reproduce. There's no generation in the afterlife. When you get there, you just be there. Or be square, be here, and be catching hell. All right? So that was the breakdown, word for word. Now, let me get a little more break it down for you. So thus, now the Ru Nu Pert M Heru is really a collection of words that was used to affirm your spiritual wisdom and to direct a human being towards positive attitude toward this most sacred phenomenon. Sorry about that. I'm going back to George. Clone funk. They say once upon a time, what George tell you, funk upon a time, in the days of our ancient Commissions, the concept of knowing thyself was first laid on man-child. Okay? Specially designed information that would take one to the highest level he can reach to know thyself was first laid on man-child, but it was later repossessed and then placed among where? Pyramids. That's where I went and got it from. That's how I know the concept. But it's all about a positive spiritual movement to what? Be a better self, know yourself, and act accordingly. And that's how you take care of humanity, by doing the right thing for the people, helping them out. That's how it's supposed to be. Each one teach one or help one. But each Rahu or Ru contains what they call an affirmation of your mystical wisdom, the knowledge that you study, that enables a human being, they taught this, to understand his or her experience, that particular aspect of the divinity that they worship. The whole, the collection of these verses, meaning you're talking to God, hymns to God, you're talking affirmations, and has been referred to as, they call them, chapters, utterance, or spells by what? Egyptologists. They get stuff and call it what they want it, and we supposed to abide by that. Moving on. So they just set the tone for that. But by the Egyptologists, while the teachings that was presented in the new Pert and Heru may be thought of as being presented in chapters and referred to as such. That may not be the original way, but that's what they're saying. So they must also be taught, be thought of as special words. Heka, where's the power? Okay, no special words. But when understood and eternalized and actually lived, the words manifest into reality. They're just words now. They become real when you manifest them by living them. Will lead you to what we call spiritual freedom, enlightenment. And in this volume, we will refer to the grouping of subjects as chapters, okay, which we may better define for our uses here as a collection of Heka, aka words of power, which impart a spiritual teaching and affirm those teachings by living them, and by then repeated utterance make it a reality. Don't just say it, bring it to fruition. You think it from the heart. Remember, you think it, feel it in the heart, then you're going to activate it. Thought, action. So thought, emotion, then action. The term Ru, R-U, may be used as a shortened version of Ra'u, which is R-A-U. It was not until after 150 BC, okay, that's 3,000 years after 45, it started to catch on. It started to get popular outside of Egypt or Kemet at the time. Why? The Greeks came in and been the rap baby says, well, the Hyksos, they had a few people come in to see people, the Hyksos, okay, the Asians, okay, they hit them too. All right, but from 1500 BCE, that the collections of the Ru were compiled in a form of papyrus scrolls and standardized to some degree best they could to their ability. However, this process of standardization was not a rigid and complete fact as the canonization of the books of the Bible. We didn't take it that far, but everybody understood what they were doing. The Bible is a continuation. That's all it is. That's all it is. And I got no problem with the Bible at all. If y'all look at it as a mythological, allegorical book, you can learn a lot and you can get enlightened and you can get to God. That's it doing. It's relinking you to your source, which is God. Okay, your individual consciousness, universal consciousness, God, but which had been separate scriptures relating to what? Christianity and the Judaism prior to or around the year, you ready? 350 ACE. Y'all wasn't even doing nothing in the BCE. The need to watch. If it ain't broke, you can't fix it. You can't fix something that ain't broke. And the phrase is, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Y'all been trying to fix something that ain't been broke since y'all come and learned it. Y'all been trying to change it, restructure it, and make it something other than what it really is. Let's get back to normal and present it to where it's supposed to be. That's why let us give it to us. Don't let them tell us. So again, 350 ACE. I ain't doing nothing that y'all said. Nothing. Y'all don't know nothing. Y'all don't know nothing. But y'all got the Bible. Yeah, the Romans wrote the damn Bible. They don't know nothing. That's what I'm saying. I know that. I know history. So, sorry. Get back to the lesson. Again, in Egypt, mythology, in Egyptian mythology, Christian mythology, Greek mythology, Indian mythology, everybody, Sumerian, Babylonian mythology. Heru is not only a reference to the God who is the son of who? Asar and Aset, aka y'all know it as Isis and him as Asar. But Heru, or y'all know him as Horus, okay? But Heru also means day. That means light. In fact, day and light are the two most important attributes of the God Heru, the spirit that's in you. We come out of darkness. We light that's in the darkness. We come from our Father, who is understood as the highest potential of every human being. Heru is you being your best self. Heru is, that means you being great, being your best self. In the words of Muhammad Ali, the greatest of all, finding the true love inside yourself makes you great. He conquered himself while living on earth, and everybody seen it. He did it, displayed it for everybody to see. I took heed. I've been practicing ever since. Okay, moving on. And what it says, here Christianity. Now it says here, your potential is Heru, the spirit to recognize itself. So therefore, the title may also read as the book of coming forth by or into the day, the light. The guide for becoming Heru. The story that we tell, the biggest story we tell in the Bible is a story about you. That's what makes it the greatest story. Why? It's been told since forever. The players and the people change. The story don't. Moving on. But the chapters for the coming into the light book, or the book of enlightenment, and what it should be. Why? Because it gives you information about you. The writings were named the Egyptian Book of Dead by who? Modern ignorant Egyptologists, okay, who obtained them. How? From the modern day dwellers who lived in that vicinity of the area, North Africa, aka the Arabs, who said they were found buried. If something is buried, how can you find it unless you dig it the hell up? Oh, I found it. 6 feet deep. No, you didn't find it. You went and got it. We're exploring with this, or they can dig up graves and call it expedition. We go dig up one there, we're going to jail. Okay? So exhuming the body, or no, you got to have law, you got to have rules. They don't do that. They just come and excavate and get paid millions of dollars by finding stuff of our ancient ancestors. Rocks worth millions of dollars. Not diamonds, not jewels, rocks. Moving on. And from the writings, okay, were named the Egyptian Book of Dead by the modern numbers. Okay, they found them, okay, buried with the ancient Egyptian dead. When Tutankhamun, when they mummified him, laid him out, they did a shit job, but nobody's supposed to know that. Why? Because nobody's supposed to see the dead bodies. They're supposed to be in tomb forever. So, but you going and you robbing grave sites, fellas, in the interest of simplicity. Calm down, get back to the lesson. I'm sorry about that. But simplicity and the consistency. Let's use the name Pert Heru. Simple as that. And that will be used throughout the text from now on. I won't say book of dead, I'll say Pert Heru. You'll know that's what I'm talking about. Okay? And it really should be becoming Heru, your best self. But the pyramid, the pyramid text, you see me, I wear pyramids for a reason. And the book of coming forth by day are similar in what? The scripture. Why? They wrote the scripture when they were alive. They didn't write it when they died. They just took it with them, okay? In scripture and purpose. It is correct to understand that the pyramid text, referred to as the book of coming forth by day, evolved out of what we know the pyramid text writing, the writings on the wall, okay? This is because the pyramid text, and that's there. It's been there. It ain't going nowhere. They can't argue, dispute that. They can talk about they wasn't black, they this, that, no. But we know the writings, the information has been there a long time. Let's go. So the pyramid texts are the earlier form of what we know to be the well-known texts, which have been called the Book of Coming Forth by Day, again, by the original Egyptians, not by the foreigners. But the pyramid texts are hieroglyphics. Ding, 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 ding. The first writings was not writings, Coptic or scripted. It was hieroglyph, or that's what the Greeks called it again. We know it as metroneta, writings of God. That's why people think the Bible was written by God. No, the original writings on the pyramid wall, that's the writing of God. Philosophically, metaphorically, mythologically. Okay, but that's where the concept comes from. I mean, the Bible wrote by God. No, it ain't. Jesus either. Smooth. Move, I ain't going there. I ain't got time for that. Get this lesson out the way. I ain't gonna beat eyes up with that nonsense. All right, but if correct and understood, the text referred to the book of coming forward by day, and then it evolved over a period of time. But it's still the pyramid text of the earliest known information that called the book coming forward by day. The pyramid texts are written in hieroglyph and is contained on the pyramid tombs on the walls of the pyramid. Ain't no dead body in the pyramid. They ain't ever found a body in the pyramid. They still call it a tomb for the pharaoh. Ain't been a pharaoh found in there yet. Sorry, again, I'm a little spurt. All right, but the pyramid tombs of the king in the early dynasty period. They keep saying that. We ain't found a king in there yet. So what makes them think it's burial site? The king's buried, goddamn it, in the west. We know that the burial. The Valley of the Kings is where they buried the dead, not in the pyramids. It was used symbolical for initiation purposes. They get all the information now. They find out the rooms are certain acoustic, all that. Yeah. But stop with the tomb nonsense, okay? But, excuse me, the kings of the early dynasty period. But both are collections of utterances. Originally recorded in what we know called the hieroglyphics, which lead you, the initiate, into the transformation of his or her consciousness, a higher level from the human to now divine. You do that with knowledge. No physical calculation, it's all mental. By purifying your mind with knowledge and gaining wisdom about the netter, God and goddesses, the divine forces of the universe and what runs the world. And through the daily practice of the rituals, after the story, which promotes personality integration, and thus your spiritual transformation has to take place because you're putting in the work to make it happen. And each of these constitutes major treatises of our ancient Egyptian philosophies, and together constitutes an advanced and highly holistic system of what we call spiritual development. You're working on yourself from the inside out. All of these have the main purpose to what? Affect the union of the individual human being with its transcendental, aka higher self, God. The philosophy of spiritual transcendence and spiritual enlightenment did not begin with the dawn of the dynastic period in ancient Egypt. No. That's according to the Greeks. The Commissions take it back even further. Why? Because we have the evidence from our ancient texts and the history of Manetho, which is the first unifier of this lesson. But it showed that the ancient Egyptian history, which is known about, is only the descendant of a much more ancient and older era of Egyptian civilization. We call it Kemet or Timeri, or some people call Akibalan. But we had names that we called ourselves. We go by names that somebody else gave us. So, now let's talk about ancient Egyptian religion was yoga. I thought yoga started in India. Again, what you thought don't mean a damn thing. Stop thinking and learn and get information. That way you can come out your face with something that makes sense. Well, I thought, how could you thought without knowing? How do you conceive of thought about something that you don't have a clue about? Admit what you don't know and find out. That's how you learn. When you believe or thought, you shut out the understanding and learning process. Why? Because the brain thinks it knows something. It don't know a damn thing. Open up. Be objective and not subjective. If what you hear don't match what you thought, well, I thought it was so-and-so. How could you thought you didn't know? I thought it was a putty tag. Remember that? Yeah, it's a putty tag. Yeah, okay. But thought means you don't know. Believing means you don't know. Knowing means you know. I teach and tell what I know. Moving on. And our ancient, they keep saying ancient Egyptian. That was the Commissions. Okay. Practice yoga. Yeah. First of all, yoga also a Hindu discipline that's aimed in training one's consciousness to become a state of perfect spiritual insight or tranquility, supreme peace and knowledge of self. That's the purpose of yoga, to get you to reach that level for yourself, and they tell you how to do it in many different ways and fashions, whichever one you like. Have at it. I took all 5 of them. When Kwai Chang Kang in Kung Fu, he had the 32 chains, but 36, he went through every one and mastered every one, so he get to pick what he wanted. He had 2 separate tattoos on his arm, and both of them was all that. So yeah, get knowledge of self and become what? The genius for your knowing yourself. Get that mastery of self. That's what you're going to need to do. What? To purify your heart, live right, and do things you need to do. Because at Judgment Day, you're going to see if you pass the test of living right or not. Moving on. I'm just trying to give you information. And it's a state of perfected spiritual knowledge and light. And it's a system, again, a system, a process where you exercise, where exercises practice as part of this discipline to what? Promote self-control of what? Your body and mind. You got to be able to control the body, your lower nature, okay, your emotions, the anger, the greed, the lust, all those things have to be controlled and mastered by you, so they don't run you, you run them. And if you run them, they can't tell you what to do. They can't lead you. Well, my little fella said, go that way. No, you just hit, okay? In all of it's a yogic concept. That's the American Heritage Dictionary definition of yoga, okay? Most people have heard of yoga as an exercise. However, again, you see guys doing the position. Yeah, that's just one aspect. That's the Tantra yoga. That's when you do the position, lotus position. Man, out there breaking all down, got all that. I don't even break that down. Why? It ain't my thing. So the position, I just, like that part, that, to me, that's fluff. So I don't do fluff. Some people interested in the fluff. I'm not. So, okay, I'm going to give you that one. But again, yoga is a vast science, right there. A science for human psychology and to obtain or to make what we call the spiritual transformation. That's coming from ignorance to enlightenment. That's a transformation from the caterpillar to the butterfly. There's a change. There's a complete change. The caterpillar and butterfly, 2 different entities, but they're the same thing. See where I'm going with this? We are spiritual beings, all knowing, all powerful, but we have no conscience, no memories, no white clay. But we in the human form. We have to regain our memory, or we have to know ourselves, however you want to view it. But you have to do it through the process of learning, becoming enlightened, and use your learning lessons to gain wisdom. That's why I teach what I know, what I learned, and which also includes your physical and mental health. You have to put them all. And this is as a prerequisite for further progress in the yoga practice. Your goal is to become knowledgeable of self. Yoga will help you do that in every aspect. Yoga in all of its disciplines, pay attention, was practiced where? First in ancient Egypt. Kemet. Okay, how about that? And now we go, Kemet. And Timeri, but I tell you another name for Egypt, for Kemet, Kemisha, we call ourselves Timeri. And Akibalan, that's the first name of Africa, that means Eden. And is this and the subject of our ancient Egyptian mystery system. Yoga, as it was practiced in ancient Egypt, included spiritual disciplines and virtuous living. That's right thinking philosophy. That's where I got it from. Yeah. To this day, I'm still practicing what they started 5,000 years ago, and it's working like a charm for me and those who practiced it, learning from me. You have dietary purification. I don't tell you what to eat, how to eat. Again, I don't tell you how to do what you do. So those are areas I don't really get involved in. Leave it up to you. But to daily study, to gain the wisdom from the teachers, and the daily practice in what? Your life, day to day. That's how you master them, by putting them into your lifestyle and you incorporate them. Psychophysical and psycho-spiritual exercise, meaning body and spirit, and daily meditation. Ding, 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 ding. I go crazy every time I see that word. That's the key. That's the key for me. Why? I got enlightened by going inside myself to find out if somebody's in there. Yeah, your higher self, your real self, your true self. You are your lower self. Now you need to know yourself and you realize that. That's what I've been trying to get you to understand why. That's what I did. And the practitioner, the practicer, right thinkers of Indian yoga, Buddhist yoga, Chinese yoga, Taoism, today all refer to these disciplines as a yogic discipline. Anything that's getting you closer to God is a yoga philosophy. That's why religion in its pure form, when done correct, is a yogic form too. Okay? So therefore, the ancient Egyptians were the first practitioners and practices of yoga philosophy in our history. So it ain't about that. It's about we did it. Okay, other people do it. We don't give a damn how it is, but we started it so everybody can learn from that. No problem. So through a process of gradually blending these in the course of your ordinary daily life. That's the mastery of it. To make it so nobody recognizes it. You doing it, but nobody sees it, but you doing it what you need to do for yourself. And every individual can affect, cause miraculous changes in his or her life. Right there, hold up. I'm living proof of that one. That guy, I don't get here if he don't change. I don't become me. If he stay the caterpillar, stay the hustler, stay that guy route, we don't happen. We don't butterfly. We don't bloom. We don't blossom. I don't become a different person. So I like that. I had to stop and put an X right there to make the point with that one. I'm taking it home right here. When you can make the miraculous change in your life, that means you done something. My dude from Streets to Christ, he made a miraculous change life over to Christ. Again, I don't care how you do it, but when you do it, my brother, he changed life over to Islam, Muslim. Okay, but his life changed, he's living better, he's doing better, he's looking good. I cannot, when somebody doing something that works for them, I love seeing that. What? I did it. Some people don't like it. I don't give a damn. I love seeing people do better for themselves. You ain't got to be a right thing to better yourself. I just have an option that if you want to, I can help you with that. Moving on. Taking it home. And thereby, when you better yourself with the miraculous change, that means you stop doing the wrong thing, start doing the right thing. That's a miraculous change. That's the transformation. That's the difference in the caterpillar and the butterfly, or ignorant and enlightened person. And thereby, you are now able to achieve whatever you conceive. And with the supreme goal of all existence, now your goal of yoga, which is what? Communing with your higher self, aka God. You become one with God. That's the purpose of yoga practice. That's the purpose of right thinking philosophy. That's the purpose of the Pert and Heru. Hope you got the message. I enjoyed giving it to you. I'll be back with some more about Egyptian yoga and the philosophy behind it. Right thinkers, in closing, may you all live to be 100. Me, 100 miles a day. So I know my right thinkers who now understand what is the new Pert and Heru is all about. Hope you enjoy the lesson. I'll be right back. You know I got something.